Food, glorious food. We're anxious to try it. Hey everybody, it's Trisha, Knitting Lady. It's Monday evening here in North Carolina. It's 10 to 6 p.m. I just remembered I had to put my trash out. We have a valet service in our apartment building, which I personally feel is the biggest waste of money. I would rather put out my own garbage. Also, you have to wait till a certain time to put it out every night. So, next place I move to, I'm going to see if they have that service, and I'm going to say, if I can, no. I already asked the manager of the complex, can I elect out of it? And he said no. So, I always have to remember when I'm home to put out the garbage, or else take it down myself, and since I'm paying for it, I might as well use it. So I didn't come on yesterday because I didn't feel like it. Plus I was home all day, I didn't put any makeup on. And believe me, even though I don't look like I wear makeup, if you saw me without makeup, you'd probably run out the door. Fright night. So, I hope you liked my little card in the beginning about donuts. That's a birthday card my son sent me. You know, if only donuts could talk. I personally don't eat donuts. I just don't care for them. To me, they're wasted calories. They don't fill me up. There's a place the next town over in Carolina Beach, right near the water, that has this place called Brits Donuts, and they make them fresh. And everyone says to me, you should go down to Brits Donuts and try their donuts. Well, I don't eat donuts, so I have no desire. I just have no desire to get them. There's also a place downtown here, not too far from me. I think they call it Wake Up Donuts. The donuts look delicious. I just don't eat them. So, that's all right. So, I have the birthdays for yesterday. Yesterday, Pat Benatar, remember her? She was born in 1953. Okay, this is for January 10th, yesterday. George Foreman was born in 1949. I have his Foreman grill. I like the Foreman grill. He was a good fighter, too. I saw him in a fight against Muhammad Ali years back. I'm dating myself. Also, Rod Stewart, Sir Rod Stewart. Roderick, I think is his first name. He was born in 1945. And do you think I'm sexy? Remember that song? That was a great song. And let me just pause this a minute. Not poise this a minute. Pause this a minute. I have rice cooking. I just want to check on it. I cook rice the long way. I don't have a rice cooker. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story about that. I have a friend in New York City, and she's Chinese, and she has always used a rice cooker. And she was saying that she had to get a new rice cooker. And I said, well, why don't you just use a pot? I've never used a rice cooker. I've always used, a pot with hot water, and you just boil it until all the water's gone. I don't see what the big deal is, but what did they do before rice cookers? So let me pause this a minute, one moment. Good thing I did that. I'm back. Or else I would have had all this rice sticking to the pot. So now it's perfect. Well, as perfect as can be. I'm not the best cook in the world. I have, like I said before, I have to cook because it's healthier and because I have allergies. But do I like to cook? No, I don't. I really don't. I was thinking before, because my son has decided he's going to move out of New York City. I wonder why. He's been there so long, he's finding it difficult, but he has 3 spots. He's got to narrow it down to 3 spots. And he's trying to get rid of things. But he only has an apartment. How much can you have? He really doesn't have that much. So I saw something on pennyhoarder.com where how to make extra money. I get that in my email every day. And I know there's a place on Facebook and other places where it's like a neighborhood exchange. You put something out there and people will, pick it up because it's free. And I have all these magazines from, the cooking magazines. I had credits left on this one thing I used to do, surveys, and I got all the better cooking magazines, of course. Now I can't think of the name of them. And I'm like, I'm not gonna look through these magazines. I just cook basic things most of the time. I don't get fancy. It's only me. And I can't be bothered. I mean, I appreciate good food. I just don't really have the desire to learn how to do all this fancy stuff. So I think I'm going to put it on that Facebook neighborhood group or whatever you call it, where you give things away. People can pick up things for free. So, I was thinking about the rice. I used to cook rice for my father practically every day. I lived with him for a while after my divorce because my father loved rice. And his cereal was rice, milk, and sugar. That's what he used to eat for cereal. He couldn't understand why people bought cereal. He says, oh, all you had to do is put rice in a bowl, put milk in it, and sugar, and you got cereal. So, plus he liked rice with other meals as well. So I used to make rice all the time. And before my mother died, I cooked meals for her every day because she had had several strokes and couldn't chew things. So I'd have to stew everything or shred the chicken or make it so it was easy to chew. And I used to tease her. I'd say, Mom, can't anybody else cook this? Oh, no. All right. We had a routine. I would drop off the food in the morning on the way to work. On the way home from work, I'd pick up the dishes, and this went on for a couple of years. And on the weekends when I wasn't working, I would go over there and clean the house because my mother couldn't do it. And my father, what he called cleaning wasn't cleaning. So that was the routine. They're a little bit more involved. I don't want to go into the whole story. So I cooked for her every day. Maybe it's why I don't like cooking. But it was plain food too. I couldn't get fancy with that because she really couldn't chew the food. Enough about that. So I talked about birthdays, and I brought out my buddy Salvador. Salvador Dali, one of my favorite artists. Where's your paintbrush? There he is. Okay. Salvador Dali and his parents believed that he was the reincarnation of his dead brother. He had a brother who was born before him and died, and so did Vincent van Gogh. Also, January 10th, we were talking about January 10th, John D. Rockefeller incorporated Standard Oil. The London Underground opened on January 10th, 1863. Now we get to January 11th, and this is the birthday of Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. The play Hamilton is about Alexander Hamilton. He was born in 1957 and died in 1804. And he died in a duel with Aaron Burr in Weehawken, New Jersey. So he was less than 50 years old when he died. And on January 11th, 1964, the U.S. Surgeon General reported that cigarettes cause lung cancer. My mother smoked 3 packs a day, unfiltered cigarettes. She would have one lit before she finished the one in her mouth. So she had emphysema, and that's what eventually she died of, plus the complication of strokes. And people wonder why I never smoked. Seeing someone like her not being able to catch their breath, it scares me to this day when I see somebody like that. So I never smoked. I never had a desire to smoke. I mean, everybody has their own addiction, but I don't like smoking. Okay, the numbers and letters of the Tesla car models are selected to resemble the word sexy. Tesla was named after the inventor, Nikola Tesla. Elon Musk has served as the CEO and product architect of Tesla since 2003. He's working a lot with NASA as well. So that's about him. I know he has weird names for his kids, and I can't remember them. And also on January 11th, 1908, President Theodore Roosevelt declared the Grand Canyon in northwest Arizona a national monument. I've been to the Grand Canyon. I lived in Arizona for 5 years. I lived in Tucson, which is down south, and I've been up to Grand Canyon and also up north near Flagstaff and Prescott. It's entirely different from South Arizona. I mean, where I lived, there were cactus everywhere. Once you get up north, you don't see cactus. You see trees, you know. Prescott was a big lumber town at one time. It's beautiful. Change of weather, too. It snows up in northwest Arizona. Not in the desert. Of course, Tucson is also a high desert. It's not sea level. I think it's around 2,500 feet. I'm not sure. But it's a high desert. Interesting. I tell you. I don't know much about geography, but as I travel through the United States, we have all kinds of terrain here and geography. It's just amazing. But let me tell you more about the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is bigger than the state of Rhode Island. The park surrounding the canyon measures 1,904 miles, while Rhode Island is 1,212 miles square feet. As the canyon has a width of 18 miles. I've been on one side. I haven't been on the other side of the Grand Canyon. It's got a length of 227 miles and measured 1 mile in depth. I haven't been down to the bottom of the canyon yet. My son wanted to take the mules down a trail, and I'll be honest with you, I was scared because the trail is very narrow. So I said to him, you're going to have to come back and do this on your own. And I wasn't going to hike it, even though I used to hike. In fact, a friend of mine who was not a great hiker, she went to the Grand Canyon and she said she was going to hike the one trail. And we said to her, you know, not for nothing, but you don't have the experience to hike that trail. I mean, I had more hiking experience and I wasn't going to hike that trail. Unfortunately, she fell, slipped, her ankle went one way, she broke her ankle, they had to airlift her out of there. So that's one of the reasons I wasn't going to do it, because switchback. The switchbacks are hard to hike, and I had some experience doing that in Tucson, and I knew from visiting the Grand Canyon that I wasn't going to be able to handle that. So she's fine now, but it took her a while to mend. Anyway, one of the viewing areas is the Hopi Point, which overlooks wide vistas and the majestic Colorado River below. You can take, not a boat, but I guess canoes up the Colorado River and get to that point down the bottom. And the most remote town in the country lies at the bottom of the canyon. Supai Village, part of the Havasupai Indian Reservation. You have to hike a total of 10 miles to get there. The population is around 208 people, and mail is still delivered to local residents via pack mule to navigate the tricky slopes. I've met people who stayed down there. Once again, I wasn't going to do that. I just didn't trust my hiking ability. An estimated 5.9 million people visit the Grand Canyon every year, making it the second most popular, following the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. I've been to Smoky Mountains. The thing about the Grand Canyon, you have to pay to get in there. I have a national park pass, so it doesn't cost me anything. You can get national park pass for a very reduced rate if you're over a certain age. I got mine before I left Arizona for $10, and it's a lifelong pass. So that was a good buy. Because I visited other parks since then, and national monuments, so I can get in for free. The Smoky Mountain National Park, there's no fee to get in there. It's really just riding in. And that was amazing in its own. A lot of windy roads to get through that park, which I don't like driving. I did it. Next time I go, I think I'll have somebody else drive it. I went to the top, what is the name of that? See, I should have done my homework. There's a place in Tennessee. It's the highest point in Tennessee. I went up there this summer. Kept driving. I said, when is this ever going to end? Keep driving and driving and driving. Finally got up there. Of course, since Tennessee and North Carolina, that part gets snow after, I think it starts in November or December. They close those roads. You know, there would be accidents. It's too windy and too high. So that's the story for the 10th and the 11th. There's nothing much going on. I decided to work on putting together my sweater. I don't know if you remember this sweater. It's this pattern. It's the Premier Yarn Nordica. In fact, I think I said I wasn't going to buy any more yarn. I think I would buy more of that yarn. I really would. I like the pattern. It's soft yarn, and really turned out pretty. So I'm putting together my sweater. When I get it all together, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'm just working on things, watching videos, trying to keep away from all the politics going on, because it's stressing me out. There's nothing I can do about it anyway. And trying to get things in order so when I do move, like I said, I'm a planner. And trying to think of new things for the channel. If anybody has any ideas how else I could get rid of things, I would put those magazines up as a giveaway, but the thing is the postage. Why does postage have to be so high? Because it's a good stack of magazines. So I hope everybody's doing fine, and I will talk to you later. Bye.